in the pajamas. Oh, the cat loved those pajamas. Oh, he was so proud when he wore those. He thought he was the cat's pajamas, in the cat's pajamas, and he wore them in the city. He wore them in the country, and he wore them, and he wore them, and he wore them until they were all worn out. And he was about to throw them away when he thought, I think there's just enough material here to make a hat for my rat. Yes. And so he measured, and he measured, and he measured, and he cut, and he cut, and he cut, and he sewed, and he sewed, and he sewed till he made the beautiful rat's hat. Oh, and that rat loved his hat. He felt so proud when he wore it. And he wore it in the city, and he wore it in the country, and he wore it, and he wore it, and he wore it until it was all worn out. And he was about to throw that hat away when he thought, there's just enough material there to make some pants for my aunt. And so he measured, and he measured, and he measured, and he cut, and he cut, and he cut, and he sewed, and he sewed, and he sewed till he made a beautiful pair of pants for the ant. I don't know how you really get an ant into your pants. Oh, and the ant, he loved his pants. He was so proud when he wore them. He wore them in the city. He wore them in the country. He wore them to the picnic. He wore them, and he wore them, and he wore them until they were all worn out. That's right. And the tailor was about to throw them away when he saw that, there's just enough material to make a story.
Okay, 6 things you should do when reading to your kids. We go a bit more down when we start from 1. Okay, tune into your child. Here, tune into to your child. This is the first one. You need to think about your child. Tune into your child is if your child is excited about one picture and they want to, stay on that one picture and talk to you, but you're excited to know what happens at the end of the story, you better tune into your child. So allow them to explore. Again, ask them questions, let them ask you questions, get them use their imaginations. But nevertheless, tune into your child. So if they want to quickly know what is happening at the end of the story and you're like, no, I have to ask you these questions, look at this picture, they get bored and they're not going to stay with you. So you have to make the story time interesting for your children. Then ask questions, as I said. So you need to ask lots of questions. Ask about the characters, get them use their imagination. What are they doing? What is happening? What do you think will happen next? This is where it gets a bit more interesting. Go beyond describing images or reading the text. So think about, we have an image, we have a text, but what is beyond it? Like, what else could they do? Oh my God, why is it so messy here? Don't try to stick to what is written in the book. The more you go beyond the story, the more you're helping your child in their cognitive abilities. Okay. So make logical links between different parts of the story. This is really important. So think about this picture a little bit. Before this, so what happens in this story is that the mother of these 7 goats is going out to get some food, and the wolf is sitting somewhere sunbathing, and then in the next page the wolf comes and knocks on the door and tells them, "Oh, I'm your mother," and then the rest of the story. It's quite interesting story actually. Your second homework, please go and search this story and read the story to yourself first, and then see if it's age appropriate for your child. But nevertheless, so for example, I've chosen this as an example. In this picture, one mother says, so their mother said, "Oh, we need some food. I have to go and get us some food." And she leaves. And oh my God, look, the wolf is knocking on the door. He says, "Hi, I am your mother." What do you think of this storyline? What do you think of this narrative? You think to yourself a little bit about this narrative. So the mother is gone, and the wolf comes and knocks on the door and says, "Hello, I'm your mother." Do you think it's good? How many of you give it a 5-star? Not so good. Not so good. I don't have time to ask you for some of the feedback. I'm so sorry. But come and give me feedback when we're having morning tea. So there is logical link is missing in this story. So for example, your child might say, "Oh, but how does the wolf know that their mother is not home?" Okay? There is the logical link missing between this mother is only describing the picture. In one picture, the mother is there talking to the little goat, saying, "Goodbye, I'm going to get food." In the next picture, the wolf is knocking on the door. But what happened in between? This is where you have to go beyond the story. So one mother says, and I think we have it here, see, the wolf who realized the mother is not home came and knocked on the door. Well, there's nothing wrong with this sentence. It's only that how did he realize? This is the theory of mind. So we come a bit down. The wolf who was sunbathing in the bush saw the mother is going to get some food. He thought, "Oh, the little goats are alone at home, and it's a good time for me to go and trick them. Maybe I can have a lunch." Okay, so this mother is making this a logical, flowing story. It's not just one snapshot, mother is not here, the next snapshot, wolf is here, the next snapshot, all the little goats are eaten, next one, mom is here again. Oh, you know. So you need to think logically, what is going on in this story? How do I connect these bits and pieces so my child start thinking in terms of theory of mind, but in terms of also building a rationale and building a logical link. And then the next one, add relevant details. So again, what are relevant details? Relevant details are the details that make this story understandable, make the story comprehensive, make the story meaningful. Again, for example, a mother might say, "The little goat who was wearing a blue shirt told the others, 'No, we shouldn't open the door. Mom just left. How come she is back?'" So this detail that this goat is wearing a blue shirt is a detail. It's more vocabulary, but it doesn't add anything to the story. It's too descriptive. You want the detail to add something to the story. For example, another mother would say, "The little goat who was also the cleverest and would always sit there and think about what might come next." Adding the details that are making your story more meaningful. And then the last one, talk about mental states and emotional concepts. What are mental states? Mental states, this is the last thing you need to write down. Mental states are thoughts, beliefs, emotions, stuff that we can't see, we can't touch. So if I say, for example, little Johnny ate an apple, well, you can look at little Johnny, you can look at the apple, you can look at the act of eating, right? But if I say, little Johnny likes apples, you can look at little Johnny, you can look at apple, but you can't look at the like. The like only happens somewhere inside little Johnny. And that's what we call mental state. It's the emotions, desires, beliefs. It's all that build our lives as human beings, but we can't see them and it's easy to ignore them. We rely too much on what we see. Thank you. This is from me.